Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit in current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And then remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
You know better than that.
I think I got the wrong button on there, but that's okay.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
Yeah. Now, while I have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. Okay, you know, Josh, I didn't even see this one here, but it's National Middle Child Day.
It is what it is.
I've got one of those. Okay, so I might have to harass him a little bit today. On a different note, today's also National Vinyl Record Day. Any of you that have been a listener of Ron Siegel Radio for any length of time know that a good friend of the show, no longer with us on this side, Jay Kaplan, was a big vinyl record collector. So when I saw that this morning, fond memories of one of my favorite liberals. Jay and I had some great debates on radio. We had some great conversation on radio. Surely miss Jay all the time. Today is Vinyl Record Day. And it's also, this one here, I guess we can talk about this one, Josh, because I've beaten anorexia. National Julienne of Fries Day. Julienne fries. You know, and I was on a call early this morning and I mentioned julienne fries and people said, what are julienne fries? They're crispier and are often called shoestring fries. No surprise, this delicate and precise cut is a French favorite. This one, the picture, Josh has some, looks like some bell pepper in there, colored bell peppers or something in there. I wonder if there's any fried grilled onions in there as well. What are you going to throw on top of that? You know, I could make that into a meal. Just throw a little bit of julienne fries on the bottom, some ground chicken or ground turkey meat on top of that, a little cheese, a little sauce on there, a marinara sauce or I like marinara. I'm in the Italian side, or, you can go some a Mexican salsa. Yeah. Okay, so I guess I better stop drooling and get back to doing the radio program today. Let's see what else is going on. We've got the markets. That's where we go next. Let's look and see the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Whoa! The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 491 points. The NASDAQ is up 203. The S&P 500 is up 58.63. Oil's down 46 cents a barrel. The 10-year Treasury. Well, the 10-year Treasury is going the wrong direction. Well, it's up a little bit. It's only up about 2 basis points. And mortgage bonds, those are going up too. So we're looking at good stuff all around in the markets there. What's driving this is all had to do with the CPI report this morning. And what drove CPI? What was the big mover on the CPI? Was energy prices being down. Now, we look at it in California because we're always one of the highest priced gas states. So we're at 449, 450 a gallon here in California. They're at 452, 453 a month ago. So maybe we saved about three cents a gallon. Okay, whatever we can get, we'll take that as a benefit, especially in the driving season. Now we're about 2 more weeks of summer left. Although I know that Josh was going to pick up your kids at school, so they're already back, which seems odd to me. Right, you're out there in Vegas, and last time I checked, it was pretty hot out there. You got the kids in school when it's this hot. Are they locked up in class? Or no, they go outside. Wow. Okay, so I guess you just learn to deal with it if you're in Vegas. My grandson, he's back in school, one of them. The other one's is going to be a year next week, so he's not in school yet. But, when I was in school, it was the week after Labor Day. That's when we started school. Now you're going back before Labor Day, so I don't know what the deal is, but I'm sure that some government entity probably spent millions and millions of dollars to do a study to find out some information that sends the kids back to school, before Labor Day. But I'm going to go away for Labor Day anyway. I think we're going to go away. I don't know. But let's see what else is going on in the world, what else is going on in the markets. The whole thing that's driving the market right now is we got a tame CPI report. Now, some of the areas, if you were watching CNBC this morning,
What are you doing?
they're talking about the fact of where certain of the tariff-induced inflation came from. And one of the things that Steve Leeson made a comment about was furniture going up 0.9%. But when you apply the weighting to CPI, it's got a very, 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 very low weighting. So it has no effect on CPI. So sorry, Mr. Leisman. Maybe we're going to have to get you a little better data, but the data that you were using there probably doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot. I told you about energy prices going down. That helps a lot of folks, the reduction in energy prices. We saw lodging. That's always the biggest, right? So lodging is a very, very high weighting when it comes to CPI. In my opinion, and I'm right, it has too high of a weighting in the CPI numbers. So we watch that and we look at it and say, okay, only 7% of the population is moving. So why does it have such a high weighting? Well, maybe with the new BLS director coming in, and President Trump did nominate E.J. Antoni as the new head of the BLS. Maybe he'll start doing some things that'll help. I don't want him to do it. I want good data. I want to be able to come on here and say, the Bureau of Labor Statistics says this is what CPI is. This is what the jobs report is, and have some confidence that it's accurate. Now, they're still gathering their data, say, for the jobs report. They're gathering it by sending out faxes. Now, I don't know about you. 15 years ago, fax was a big thing. 20 years ago, it was amazing. Does anybody use a fax anymore? I mean, our fax, we have a fax number. It goes into our computer. Do we check it, Josh? Is there a way that we even know if a fax came in? I don't know, because, it's just not a thing. So they're not getting the data coming into them. And then they wonder why their data is always wrong. Maybe Mr. Antoni will have a better way of collecting data. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, what you need to know about concessions, why 38% of fraud victims lose money. You want to know how not to? Tariffed housing market, and why 73% of self-employed people overpay taxes. Don't be one of them. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564. Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ. and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at ronsiegelradio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app. rsrlinks.com/mobile app. And every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They don't tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They tell us the number you need to put in your mortgage calculator to find out what your principal and interest payment will be. Don't have a mortgage calculator? Shame on you. rsrlinks.com/mobile app. Got one right there for you. Or, just give us a call at 800-306-1990. What did rates do yesterday? Most of them were down. Conventional 30-year fix, 6.599. That was down. Jumbo 30-year fix, 6.648. That was down. FHA 30-year fix, 6.356. That was down. VA 30-year fix, 6.147. That was down. The only one that was up was the USDA 30-year fix, 6.429. Only one that was up. So let's take a look and see what's going on in the markets right now. Well, We've got the Dow Jones Industrial Average is still up 477 points as we speak. The NASDAQ is up 213. The S&P 500 is up 59. Oil is down 74 cents a barrel. We got the 10-year Treasury is up about 2 basis points, and the mortgage bond is up 13 basis points. Remember, when that bond goes up, rates go down, but not too exciting, and we're a little nervous about where some of these numbers are in the mortgage bond right now, just because we're watching what's going on and some of the technical analysis. But let's talk about what's driving some of these things. Well, we got yesterday, President Trump announced the new head of the BLS, E.J. Antoni. He's been interviewed on CNBC before, and from what we have seen of him thus far, brought up some good points on inflation and labor data. We hope that'll be a good appointee. At the end of the day, we just want to see accurate numbers and a change in methodology. We want to get the numbers where we can count on those numbers. And Mr. Antoni's got a pretty good resume. He's done some teaching. He's an economist. He's done some statistics work. Gotta look interesting to see what he has to say. So what was that consumer price index report that we were talking about? We got the July report, showed that overall inflation rose 0.2% for the month, in line with expectations. Year over year, inflation remained at 2.7%, which was also in line with market estimates. Helping headline inflation stay stable was a decline in energy prices and gasoline. There has definitely been some price increases due to tariffs, but they are having a very small overall impact on the inflation figures, at least in the last report. Some of the figures look large. Furniture and bedding rose 0.9% in the month. Audio rose 2.2%. Photographic equipment rose 1.2% because the weightings are so small, it only caused inflation to rise by 0.0086%. There were also other areas like parts of apparel that many expected to rise due to tariffs, but they actually fell. Prices down. Core rate, which strips out food and energy prices, increased by 0.3%, which was in line with the upper estimates year over year. Core inflation rose from 2.9% to 3.1%, which was a tenth hotter than market estimates. While there was not big impact from the tariffs in this report, shelter accounted for more than half the core inflation. Shelter makes up 44% of the entire core reading, while it came in at 0.23%, which is pretty tame. Owner's equivalent rent continues to lag because it imputed data. Helping the shelter reading was lodging away from home, which fell 1%. That's hotels, Airbnb, Vermo, all those things. Some other areas that caused inflation to rise were airline fares. Wow, rose 4% just in the 1 month, 4%. Ow! Yeah, used cars and trucks and medical care. Everything else rose 0.7% for the month and 0.89% year over year. Bottom line, most costs are remaining pretty tame outside of those that we just mentioned. The ICE Home Price Index released their home price index, showing that home values fell ever so slightly by 0.06% in August. But that is seasonally adjusted number, just like we saw with Case-Shiller and FHFA. We are seeing less appreciation during this time of year than normal, so the figures are getting adjusted to the negative. But on a seasonally adjusted basis, we are seeing home values still increase modestly. If you want to know what the value of your property is doing, well, we've got a report for you that we give it to you, and it does not cost you a thing. rsrlinks.com/homewealth. rsrlinks.com/homewealth. You can go on there and find out once a month. I'm not going to do it a whole lot, but once a month, we'll send you a report, and it'll tell you what's happening with your home prices. rsrlinks.com/homewealth. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app. rsrlinks.com/mobile app. So let's do a little bit more of a mortgage talk. Have you been terrified lately? It's not in the terrified. Tariffied. Not terrified, like fearful, but tariff-eyed lately. It's not in the dictionary yet, but it should be, especially if you're planning to buy a home. I am Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping people build wealth through strategic debt management. Here's what caught my attention this morning. The average tariff rate jumped from 2.4% in March to 10% by June. That's more than quadrupling in just 3 months. According to Yale Budget Lab calculations, we're heading toward an 18.6% average tariff rate, the highest since 1933. Now you might be thinking, Ron, what does this have to do with my mortgage? Everything. Let me share what I'm seeing with clients right now. Last week, I had a family came in who'd been pre-approved elsewhere for a $600,000 home purchase. Yeah, they should have got a second look from our team, rsrlinks.com/second look, rsrlinks.com/second look. The lender was focused purely on the mortgage rate. But here's the thing. They were also carrying $85,000 in various debts at rates between 8 and 30%. Instead of just looking at their mortgage rate, we calculated their household blended interest rate. Remember, strategy beats rate always. By repositioning their debt strategically, reduced their monthly cash flow impact by $1,200. That's $14,400 annually back in their household budget. Money they can use to weather any economic storms ahead, including the potential price pressures from these rising tariffs. The swap markets are already pricing in higher inflation expectations. The one-year inflation swap moved from 2.03% last September to 3.38% recently. Smart money is preparing for higher costs across the board. What does this mean for you? Don't get caught focusing only on mortgage rates while ignoring the bigger picture. Your household's total debt strategy matters more than ever when economic uncertainty is brewing. If you're considering a purchase or refinance, now's the time to look at your complete financial picture through the lens of safety, liquidity, and return. For a complete analysis of your household's debt strategy, rsrlinks.com/Sora, rsrlinks.com/Sora. We'll take a look at your household liability strategy. You can visit ronsiegelradio.com or call to schedule a discovery consultation at bookrs15.com, bookrs15.com, because times like these, having the right strategy isn't just smart, it is essential. So there's a little bit more on the mortgage world. And obviously, if you've got a concern, don't ever forget about the two-step. rsrlinks.com/two-step. rsrlinks.com/two-step. We talk about it all the time. We want to find out what your blended household interest rate is. We look at that. We see if it makes sense for you to restructure. Now, we also have unsecured loan options available. So if that's part of what you need, give us a call. We can help there too. But go and do the two-step. It's not a dance move. It's just good business for you. So you consolidate your debts in step one. You lower your cash flow expenditures. You can use 70%. That's the number. 70% of that savings is going to go to paying down that mortgage a little quicker, which means you're going to have an effective interest rate very, very low. You're going to use 20% to enjoy, and 10% is going to go into your savings. 70, 20, 10. That's the program right there. Then 6 to 12 months down the road, we expect interest rates, and most of the economists do, expect interest rates will be lower. Now, if that happens, that's when we're going to restructure all that debt one more time. We will give you an option with no lender fees, and we're going to look at it. And we're going to say, can we help you? Can we make your structure look even better than we did before? Because now you should have a higher FICO score if you follow the game plan, rsrccpayment.com, rsrccpayment.com. Follow that game plan. You should have a increased FICO score. You should have We won't have the cash out refi hit. Hopefully interest rates will be lower. So we restructure again, potentially with that no lender fee option. And you're going to save even more money. And we're going to still apply the 70, 20, 10 strategy, all for your benefit. Again, you're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, what you need to know about concessions, why 38% of mortgage victims lose money, how not to, and why 73% of self-employed people overpay on taxes. Don't be one of them. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you missed any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564. Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the first Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at RonIsMyLender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. RonIsMyLender.com.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com. Here's something that might surprise you. Almost half of all home sellers right now are making concessions to get their deals done. And if you're thinking about buying or selling, this shift could save you thousands. I'm Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping people build wealth through strategic debt management. So what exactly is a seller concession? Simply put, it's something the seller offers to make their house more appealing to buyers. We're talking about covering your closing costs, reducing the asking price, making repairs, or even offering a home warranty. Now, why should you care? Because the market has shifted dramatically. We've got more inventory, which means more competition for sellers. And sellers know they need to be flexible to close their deal. Let me share what I'm seeing with my clients. Just last month, I worked with a family who found their perfect home, but the numbers were tight. The seller agreed to cover $8,000 in closing costs as a concession. That meant my clients could keep more cash in their pocket for moving expenses and still get their house they wanted. Here's the key insight. Prices went up roughly 55% over the past 5 years. You've got plenty of room for concessions and still come out ahead if you're selling. And if you're buying, you've got more negotiating power than you've ever had in years. But here's where strategy beats rate always. Don't just focus on the concession amount. Focus on how it impacts your household blended interest rate and your monthly cash flow. A seller covering closing costs might be more valuable than a price reduction depending on your situation. What does this mean for you? If you're buying, don't be afraid to ask for concessions. Covering closing costs, making repairs, offering warranties, these are all on the table. If you're selling, think of concessions as a tool, not a trade-off. The right concession can get your home sold faster and for better results. Not sure which concession to offer or ask for? Let's connect so you know what's working for sellers in our market. Go to rsrlinks.com/buydown so you understand this and you can see how the right debt strategy and home selling strategy can position you perfectly whether you're buying or selling. Remember, strategy beats rate always. That's the real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. I'm going to share another story with you just from yesterday. So I had a consultation with a family yesterday, and we were talking about they're buying a second home. Second home has been on the market for a while, listed at $779,000. Now, second homes come with a high loan level price adjuster, so the interest rates on those are dramatically higher than what primary residences are. They're in line with investment properties. So let's talk about this. Let's think about this. So what did we suggest? They're thinking about offering a lower price for the property. And I said to them, consider not offering a lower price on the property. Let's consider the concept of going with a full price offer. Now, they may not want to do a full price offer. They may want to do a hybrid. But let's look at what the options were, what we talked about with them. So they've got some liquidity, and they're going to put 25% down. And we're looking at this, and I didn't have any plan on sharing this with you today, but I'm going to anyway because it's Ron Siegel Radio, and I can. So what did we talk to them about doing? And I'm going to see if on the fly, and I don't know if I can do this on the fly right now or not. Sometimes, I get myself in trouble because I start talking about some of these things because I'm passionate about helping you. So let's see if I can get this to wake up on my computer here. And Josh, I hope you're ready for this because it's scary. So I'm going to try and share my screen. And we're going to go to, tell me if you're seeing what I'm seeing here. Okay, good. So we're looking at a $779,000 purchase price. We had a loan amount of $584,000. Interest rate, again, because of the situation, these people have excellent credit because there is the high loan level price adjustments for second homes. We were looking at a 7.625 interest rate. 7.78 APR for those of you keeping score. Payment, $46.24.21. Now, we said, what if they do a 5% concession to cover recurring, non-recurring, and unallowable expenses. We're buying down the interest rate to 6.25%. 6.781 is the APR. Now look what happened here. It brought their payment down to $35.94. They're saving $669 a month. Now look at the payment here, and I'm going to unhighlight these things over here, I believe. And take a look. The payment here is $35.94.76. In order to get the exact same payment, they would have had to do a $122,000 reduction in price. Now, do you think somebody that's listed at $779 is going to reduce their price to $657? Not unless they have to and over a long period of time. But that's what it would take to get to the same $35.94.76 as far as a payment. And again, we put in principal and interest and taxes and the estimated insurance. Those estimates are all in there. They're the same for all the columns, so I could have taken them out. It wouldn't have mattered. But the bottom line, now look what happens over 60 months. If you're looking at this with us, over 60 months, the buy down saves them $77,900 versus a $122,000 concession that they're probably not going to get. So over 5 years, they've more than offset the amount of that $122,000. Strategy beats rate always. This is just another example of our seller buy down. Now, what's the biggest holdback on this? Well, some people are going to say, hey, Ron, what happens if the appraisal doesn't come in? Got you covered there too. Look at it. 701. What if the appraisal only came in at 700,000, 701? Well, we're going to keep the loan amount the same, but we're going to change the loan to value ratio. So it's not going to have much of an impact on anything. If you notice, the payment stays the same, cash to close stays the same. No big deal. It's all right there, the same numbers. So we've got the appraisal covered. You got to have a strategy to make sure you're covered on everything. So when you're thinking about concessions, and in this market, many people are thinking about concessions. Now, let's think about this, because I've shared this with you on many broadcasts. Do you know what it is that builders do to keep their inventory flowing? Yeah, they buy down the interest rate. Now, here we just looked at a 5% buy down. Now, it must be done the right way. If it's not done the right way, it can trigger high cost and predatory lending violations. But you're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, so we understand how to do it the right way. You got to call us. Now, we like to get involved with this before you make your offer, because there's a lot of agents, a lot of listing agents that don't understand how to do this. So we educate them. A lot of lenders, they're out there saying, let's do a temporary buy down. And they're skipping to their own beat of the temporary buy down. Go to rsrlinks.com/buy down. And I go through the pros and cons of both the permanent buy down and the temporary buy down. Now, the permanent buy down that I just showed you, that's for 30 years. It's going to stay the same, which means that we can use that lower payment for qualifying purposes. The temporary buy down is by definition temporary. We cannot use that for qualifying purposes. Now, why do people like it? They say, well, Ron, I like that one better because it's going to allow us, if the rates go down, then we can just restructure the loan. And if there's anything left of that buy down money, it goes back to paying down the principal of that existing loan. If there's anything left. There were people that were doing the temporary buy downs 2 years ago, and there's nothing left now. And those clients now are up at the 6 and 7% interest rates, maybe 7.5 or 8% interest rates, because they had the wrong strategy. Even back then, when I recorded initially the video that's in rsrlinks.com/buydown, when I recorded that initially, I actually was talking to folks about the idea that, be careful here. Some of the cons of that buy down, of the temporary buy down, make me a little bit nervous. Just throw that out there. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, why 73% of self-employed people overpay taxes. I don't want you to be one of them. Why 38% of fraud victims lose money and how not to. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you missed any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564. Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ. and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
Do you believe Southern California real estate is a great investment? Are you a little short to be a cash investor? Are you missing the Social Security card or tax returns? The Siegel Lending Team has the loans for you. Common Sense Lending is back. Yes, there's a cost to higher risk, but the reward can be great. Call today for details. 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 217037 and DRE number 1869452. Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452. You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Borrow Smart, brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com. Here's something that might surprise you. Being your own boss can actually save you thousands in taxes, but only if you know the rules that most people miss completely. I am Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping people build wealth through strategic debt management. You know, I've been helping families with their finances since 1983. And one thing I see over and over again is self-employed folks leaving money on the table at tax time. Whether you're driving for Uber, running a consulting business, or even if you're a social media influencer, yes, that counts as self-employment. There are strategies that can put real money back in your pocket. Let me share a story about a client who came to me last year. Freelance marketing consultant making good money, but she was getting hammered at tax time. Why? Because nobody ever taught her the difference between tracking expenses as an employee versus being self-employed. When you work for someone else, you might track expenses to get reimbursed. But when you're self-employed, those same expenses become tax deductions. Big difference. Here's what really important to understand. Your taxes will get more complex when you become self-employed, but that complexity works in your favor if you handle it right. Take the family hiring strategy, for instance. One of my business owner clients was paying his college-age daughter to help with legitimate administrative work in his business. The business gets a deduction for her salary and payroll taxes, and she's not paying much in taxes on that income because she's in a lower tax bracket. It's perfectly legal and saves the family thousands. But here's where people mess up, and this is crucial. You have to make sure it's a legitimate job. The IRS isn't stupid. They know the difference between real work and funny business. Now, if you're self-employed, you're probably not having taxes withheld automatically like regular employees. That means you need to think about quarterly payments instead of waiting until April 15th. Miss those quarterly payments and you could face penalties that wipe out any savings you've created. So what does this mean for you? If you're self-employed or thinking about it, you need three things: proper expense tracking, understanding of legitimate deductions, and a plan for quarterly tax payments. The big picture is simple. Strategy beats rate always. While everyone else is worried about their tax bracket, smart self-employed people are focused on the household blended approach, looking at their entire financial picture to create real tax savings. And if you listened to us a couple weeks ago when Rondi Lambeth was on, he shared strategies 179 of the tax code, 280 of the tax code, showing people how to save tens of thousands of dollars in taxes. Want to see how these strategies might work in your specific situation? Take our 30-second liability checkup at rsrlinks.com/Sora, rsrlinks.com/Sora. It's a soft credit pull that won't hurt your score, and it'll show you exactly where you stand with your current debt structure. Again, rsrlinks.com/Sora. That's the Borrow Smart segment brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com, GetHomeSelect.com. Your Credit Matters segment today brought to you by rsrlinks.com/debt-free. Here's a scary number. Scary number for you, $12.5 billion. That's how much Americans lost to fraud in 2024 alone, up 25% from the prior year. Yikes. I am Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping people build wealth through strategic debt management. You know, I've been in this business. First loan I helped a family with was in 1983, and I've seen a lot of financial challenges come and go. But what's happening right with fraud right now It's unlike anything we've dealt with before. Let me share what happened to one of my colleagues recently. They received an email from someone claiming to help with credit repair. Seemed legitimate, had professional letterhead, even referenced real government agencies. But here's the thing. The scammers are getting smarter. According to the Federal Trade Commission, 38% of fraud reports now involve actual financial losses. That's up just 27% in 2023. What does this mean for you? It means the con artists aren't just fishing anymore, they're landing bigger catches. The biggest threat? Investment scams. We're talking $5.7 billion in losses last year. Then you've got imposter scams, where people pose as government officials or even your loved ones that cost people nearly $3 billion. But here's what really gets me. These fraudsters understand something many financial professionals miss. They know how that people make emotional decisions about money, especially when they're stressed about debt or credit problems. So what does this mean for you? First, remember that strategy beats rate always. This applies to protecting your finances too. Don't just react to the latest scare tactics or too good to be true offer. Here's your protection strategy. Monitor your credit reports regularly. rsrlinks.com/FICO. rsrlinks.com/FICO. You can get a free one also. Now, the one I just gave you, rsrlinks.com/FICO, got to pay for that because you want your credit scores. You want to monitor them. Now, you want your free report? annualcreditreport.com. If someone calls claiming to be from the government demanding money, hang up. Government agencies don't work that way. And here's something most people don't think about. Your household blended interest rate includes the cost of fraud protection. When you're evaluating financial products, factor in the safety, liquidity, and aspects, not just the return. One more thing. If you've been hit by identity theft or fraud, don't panic. There are ways to recover and sometimes even get compensation. I know of cases where people have received settlements, $44,000 or more from credit bureaus and creditors when fraud was involved. Remember, when it comes to your financial security, the same principle applies that I use with debt management. Evaluate everything through the lens of safety, liquidity, and return. Don't let fear drive your decisions, but don't ignore the risks either. If you want to learn more about protecting your credit and managing your household finances, go and visit again, rsrlinks.com/Sora, rsrlinks.com/Sora, and we'll get you started and we'll put you in touch if need be with one of the credit experts that are partners with Ron Siegel Radio. Just remember, strategy beats rate always. That is the Your Credit Matters segment brought to you by rsrlinks.com/debt-free, rsrlinks.com/debt-free. And when you go to those links, we're going to put in there, we'll make sure we note your contact information because we are working on a book. And it's called it's going to be, the working title is A Path to 850. Path to 850. And we do talk about in there as far as how to work toward getting to your 850 FICO score. So make sure you connect with us so we have that information. And a few giveaways here. If you're thinking about buying a house, you want to do two things. First off, get involved in our certified buyer program. You got to have the certified buyer program. It's a 5-step program, including getting your certified pre-approval, pre-underwrite in your Apple Wallet so it's easy for you. Get the home buyer's guide, rsrlinks.com/HBG, rsrlinks.com/HBG, and you're going to get the home seller's guide at the same time, rsrlinks.com/HSG. Get them both. And if you want to know what's happening in your neighborhood, get the market report. Got to have all of them. You got to do your homework. You can't just go by what they're saying in the media because they're trying to sell you something. If you've noticed, how much have I asked you for in any of the reports we do? Nothing. Now, does it cost us to generate them or subscribe? Certainly. Does it cost us money to get into some of these different reports? Certainly. There are costs involved in all of them, but we don't charge for them. It's part of a value add that we do because we appreciate you listening at Ron Siegel Radio. On our socials, we like it when you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, all of those good things. If you're thinking about that, finding out your neighborhood, rsrlinks.com/market report, rsrlinks.com/market report. And the last one that I want to tell you about if you're still renting and thinking about owning, rsrlinks.com/RVO, Robert Victor Ocean, rsrlinks.com/RVO. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990 at ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.